United States, one of the most quote unquote most powerful positions in the world. Okay, the world used.
How's everybody doing? Looking right here, Brandon. You know what? This show today that I'm doing this podcast, and you know what, man, people with the heavy response about Sanctuary City. But before we start give you a synopsis, what we're going to do is we're going to briefly talk about Mr. Kirk that got Charlie Kirk that got killed. Okay, so there will be violence for individuals that have different opinions, views. Okay, and secondly, we're going to talk about Sanctuary City. This is a big issue in Chicago. You know, I live in the Chicago area. I live in Chicago. And not only will this their precedence for what will be happening in New York and California. Also, these are the issues and the national guards. And you know what? But I'm going to start out with
on 60 something, and people weren't very happy about that. And that's the neighborhood I grew up in. And they were turning it into a place to house and the community wasn't feeling that. Of course, they always come to the lower, they always come to the black communities. We didn't hear them too much going up in, the north side or whatever. I don't even know what they call their communities up there. But we saw. But that was everybody's thought, that it was going to be these people that came over, walked in and climbed the wall or whatever. But he was talking about anybody, as we see now, that came over 20 or 25 years ago and never did what they were supposed to do as far as getting themselves legally accepted, as a citizen. And people were telling me, I was saying, well, you know what? If you've been there 20 years or 25 and you've been working and you haven't taken the initiative to get yourself your citizenship, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if I feel sorry for you or whatever. And then they want to go to, well, it's expensive. Okay, but you were making a living. And some have bought houses. Like, tell me how you do that. I can tell you a story with someone working at the jail with me that didn't have papers to be in the U.S.
Yes.
Like, you got a government job, but I feel that does it warrant taking them to jail or other countries where they, just no. Take them back to even where they came from, or give them some kind of, instead of just saying, they say,
we have a meeting of the minds. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not, because I saw them walking around in my community and I was like, okay, you should have seen if anyone on here is familiar with 87th and Dan Ryan at the Home Depot. Oh my God. I just quit going up there. I was like, what? And they put a big fence up around the parking lot to keep them out, and they start blaring this loud music, I guess, so it would drown out anything, and it was just crazy.
Wow.
So there is, you got to have some kind of structure. You got to get some stuff under control.
Yeah.
But this chasing them down and doing all this, and, and some states are now upset because they're going in and they're recruiting out of their already law enforcement pool, and they don't like that. They offer them $50,000 bonus with a payoff of school debt if they have that to come on over to, and work for ICE, because he did give them quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and again, to the level that it is so many here, I was ignorant to that. I was like, God, they kept saying that, Hispanics were going to be the next, outnumber us and stuff. And, but I was like, well, but they can't vote because they're not, registered, they're not legal. But yeah, because I think today is their parade. I'm going to be watching that.
ICE agents might be there.
Do you go and disrupt that? And because some of the people are going to get upset. You killed a man yesterday and he should have just stopped. Don't be resisting if you know, either don't come out the house or try to go somewhere yourself, but you think you're gonna outrun them in this, and they swarm on you with 2 or 3 cars, you ain't got a chance. And he lost his life yesterday.
Yeah.
He lost his life, and you hurt one of the agents. So, you know, but I guess on a larger scale, this president and this people knew, well, they don't think that no one other than their race anyway should be in this country, any kind of leadership, any kind of whatever. So if they could take us, they
had to wait a minute, sister. Wait a minute. You have to follow a protocol to come in. And I submit to you and the listening audience, there's a lot of people listening to us. If we go to Europe or Africa without a passport, we're going to be expedited back to the United States. And we're going to
shouldn't get over there anyway without a passport. Okay. You should be stopped at the airport.
What am I saying about Sanctuary City? I get it.
But you ain't going over there on that pretense. If you're going over there, I don't know if you're going over there to visit it, because a lot of them come over here to visit and they just don't leave.
Oh, okay.
You came and visited 20 years ago?
Okay. Do you think? Let me ask you something. I'm gonna go to Washington D.C.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm gonna go to Washington D.C. and the thing is, what is your overall response about the criminal activity decreasing in Washington, D.C., and no homicides since the National Guards have been there, and the mayor saying, you know what, I have to admit, they have helped us to curtail crime. What is your response to that?
First, I don't believe it. First
of all, let me play this video. Okay, because I want you to hear this. You made me do research. I appreciate it.
Deployment of National Guard troops is affecting crime in the nation's capital. According to the data, violent crime is down by almost half when compared to the same nearly 3-week period last year. Assaults are down 19%, burglary is down 48%, and homicide is down 57% from August 7th through August 25th. And for more on this, let's bring in John Kelly. He's CBS News Vice President of Data Journalism and our data guru. John, good to have you on. So break this down for us. Did you find anything surprising or unexpected in your analysis?
Sure. We found a lot of interesting things, Tom. We really wanted to look at what is going on with crime incidents across D.C. in these few weeks since we had these federal troop and law enforcement deployments. And so we're able to look at every incident of crime and its location, and we can see things that are related, we think, to the presence of an extreme amount of additional law enforcement. We're seeing less violent crime incidents reported to the police, at least. Fewer assaults, fewer murders, fewer gun crimes. One of the things that's been plaguing the city with auto thefts down 36%, and so we looked at this time period of these few weeks that there have been these deployments in the city, and we compared that back not just to the same days last year, but we wanted to look over the longer haul too to see if the trend lines held up. And we've seen this decrease is pretty similar. It's a little more than half if you look at the 5-year average. And so there's less, at least reported crime going on. Now, that's a complex situation, right? There are a lot of factors that can contribute to that. We can't know for sure how these deployments are affecting that, other than the presence of additional law enforcement and military personnel in, key locations downtown.
John, one of the things I want to talk about, there's a lot of information and some misinformation about the location of where these troops are versus the crime rates there. You looked into that. What did you find?
Well, one thing that's key is that crime incidents are extremely evenly dispersed across Washington, D.C. And a lot of people, everyone comes with their perception of how they feel or what they experience and what they see. But in general, the data over time shows that the crime is pretty evenly dispersed throughout the city. And so there were a lot of talking points around well, the federal troops and the federal law enforcement officials have been deployed in places that are lower crime areas. And for a couple of these locations on the National Mall, that might be the case, or near monuments. But in general, what we found was that within a half a mile of the confirmed locations, for every one of these, incidents, we're seeing in general a higher than average crime rate and incidents clustered around those locations. These are some of the higher crime low areas in the city. The areas north of the mall and north of downtown are areas that have seen a lot of growth in crime incidents over the past few years. And so those are areas where there had been a lot of criminal activity. And so the deployments, in some place like U Street, have more concentration of crime than you would see in 90% of the neighborhoods across the city.
That's really interesting. John Kelly giving us the data analysis behind the headlines. Such critical work that you do. Thank you for coming on, John.
After hearing something like that,
I should have been writing my little notes down.
Okay, yeah. if the criminal activity has decreased, they have not hurt Washington, D.C. They've helped Washington, D.C. Would you agree or disagree with that? And can you expand on that, please?
I don't know if I can agree or disagree. I heard him say that they have been deployed in areas that were less crime-ridden. You might have to play that back, but he did say that. I saw that map up there, and I've been to Washington a couple of times, and I knew in that DuPont Center, that's mostly in the downtown Washington, Baltimore, people just transition like we do from here to Indiana. So I talked to some family there, and they was like, well, they're not coming in the area where the crime was happening. They're mostly saturated in the buildings down there, downtown area, or whatever, what they consider theirs. He gave a graphic that he put up there, and that graphic said 5 years. And then you have someone doing analysis of something that's up in the screen. It's like he's in Florida. Are you serious? Give me somebody that's actually on the ground, boots on the ground, or in Washington, D.C., because, and that's just common sense. If you're going to send the National Guards in here and people are watching and everybody, even the criminal, going to say, okay, well, I got to lay low. I can't go out here and do what I usually do because they're going to have more whatever. Or you might have something that's like, don't care and going to do it anyway. So I really can't see. Like I said, I had to look at some graphics because I just not going to believe them telling me that, because I know this lying-ass president we have and his office and administration, and they'll say they lie so much you can't believe anything.
Yes.
And they say it's just, man, this it's been real good being on here. I kind of like this. This was cool.
Okay. And you know what? I want to thank you, and you overextended your time, and I appreciate that. But I would like to ask you, do you have any finishing comments that you would like to give in regards to these issues? There may have been a question that I did not ask you, a message that you may want to convey to the audience, because there are a lot of people looking on YouTube and other social media. Probably, yes.
Keep telling me that. That's I really don't do. I know you're gonna put me on the spot like that, but no, I'm good. I kind of like it. We always talk every week, so I just like for here in Chicago, our politics. I'm riding with the mayor. I get out there. I haven't seen nothing that would really make me go another way. Same for the governor. When we changed our leadership like we did years ago, and we brought this guy in here, this Republican, he devastated our city, our state. Then he left without even paying the bills when his term was up. He went back to Florida because he's a millionaire. They don't care about the average person that knows that are in need. Some people do honestly need help. And it's not because they're not trying to do it on their own, but they're just not where some of the people are. They got the silver spoon in their mouth. And so as far as the immigrant and all that, I don't, like I told you at the beginning of our conversation, I don't put a lot of emphasis on that. And the money, I don't, everybody need help, that's just it. They're trying to make a better life. They did it the wrong way. Now if you're coming over here and you're going to start the same nonsense that you were doing in your country and the reason why you left, then you definitely got to go.
Okay.
If you're trying to come and you coming with children and you really trying to do something, and at one time they were saying, well, they're taking the jobs from us and this and that. I had this discussion all the time, and what we won't do as a people as a job. And I was like, no, if they're not paying a wage where I can make it and help my family make it, then no, we're not finna go back to those. And I think me and you had a discussion. I was like, there's no reason why the minimum wage on a federal level is still at $7. Somebody make that make sense.
I agree.
$7. And the way we're about to get hit with the prices going up now. So, it's a tough job when you say you want to do it and the mayor took it on. I always tell him, oh, well, you asked for it. But I'm going to give him the support. He got a lot of critics. Hopefully he got more people that's saying, okay, we could do worse and nobody perfect. He's got to learn as he go, and you just gotta ride with it. I read a lot of people say that he's only paying attention to one race, and you're upset about that. And I guess that one race will be the black race.
Yes.
You got a lot of people on these social media pages. And I'm like, ooh,
hey, I love it. And I love it.
I like it too. Obviously, you're doing a lot, like I said, I love Chicago. Wouldn't live anywhere else. I get out and do my stuff. We got another rough 3 years and 5 months. Yeah. And like I said, when people vote for stuff that's going to have a direct impact on you. I mean, you can look at everything. You should.
Local politics.
Look at what's mostly going to affect your well-being, your this and that. Because when we lose focus on what we need and we go with something that everybody's hollering on, in the long run, we end up losing. We end up losing. So, we got an idiot in office that what we going to do?
Yeah, Mr. Lowell just said, that's right. At the end of the day, we asked for it. Pain, plain and simple. Hey, this is the last question, sister. You know what President Trump is doing in Venezuela, okay, by having warships over there and stopping fentanyl from coming out of Venezuela and putting a $50 million bounty on the president's head for allowing fentanyl to come out. What is your consensus? How do you feel about that?
But you're not showing us the proof of it. You're just going off. You went and bombed the ship and you blew away all the evidence. Are we supposed to take your word? Dude, you're unstable. He's unstable anyway as a president. So okay. I saw that. You go and do that on international waters and everybody ain't from there. Are guidelines. There's things that were put in place. He may not have liked it, but you're the president. You said you would take on or continue what's already been put in place, or maybe you didn't. I think his first term was just to sit back and feel the lay of the what's out there. He was taking notes because he come back this time with a vengeance. And they opened the door to let this fool in here, and he's flipping everything. And the young man, unfortunately, he lost his life. But from my understanding, he was starting the campaign for the third term. Hold on a minute for me.
All right. No,
let me call you right back.
Okay. So you know what?
Call you right back.
Okay. You're
not you. Bye-bye.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so
even if the CIA has found out that fentanyl is coming from Venezuela, you say the United States has went too far. Is that it?
Yeah, you're not letting the United States in, or you're not giving us enough of the information to say, okay, I support what you did because this is da-da-da. He's just doing stuff, and, he's not including any of the people that were elected to, be there by his side. And you're taking the people that you put in. It's not going to question anything you tell them to do because they don't want the Cash Patels and all the rest of them keep their job. And, and because we saw the first term, he was just firing left and right when they was like, this isn't a good idea. This isn't how the U.S. conduct military, whatever. So that's your word, Sam, because you blew up all the evidence. You went and, it's just you wake up and it's like he done did this. When you went over there and bombed, we got rid of their nuclear plant, and then people are like, no, you didn't get rid of nothing. But okay, come on.
Well,
He's acting as a.
Well, you know what, though, sister?
I don't know what to say about the fentanyl and the drug thing. Some people aren't as strong. I was just like, when you start using them drugs, it's a no-win.
Yeah.
To that extent, I know you want to protect people, but I don't know. Fentanyl. Now all of a sudden, that's the reason for the tariffs. That's the reason for everything. Keep going for that because a lot of people have lost loved ones from overdose on it.
Oh, well, I want to ask you, sister, will you come back to the Underground Railroad podcast?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mays Jackson, if you know him, he more than welcome to come on. I have people on that have different views. Nobody has to espouse everything I say because the world is not centered around me. And I love the exchange of hearing different ideas and perspectives. And you know what? I thank you. I thank you for coming on the Underground Railroad podcast. This will be on YouTube. Plus, I will have it on television on channel 19 at 10:30 p.m. once I finish doing the editing. I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Even though I know you're gonna beat me at cards.
Well, we end up being partners anyway. But yeah, I always like constructive conversation. I'll listen to your side, and you listen to mine. But I'll just say, take it easy on Chicago. We good.
All right, there.
You don't need that outside thing agitating us. We got to talk to our own, and parents got to parent.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
see you Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been engaging, and I thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. So you're looking at the Underground Railroad podcast, and we do a television show that comes on in Chicago every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to go to my editing room and chop this up and put this on television. And how to Frank Lowe, Charlie, those other people, Ella, and Tawheed, and all the card playing people that they beat me at cards, but I try to beat them. But no gambling. So, what, I'm going to leave you in a word. Before I say that, recap, we talked about Charlie Kirk. We talked about immigration. We talked about the National Guards. And I'm always looking for guests to come on the Underground Railroad television podcast and television show, whether your views align with mine or not, because I love hearing different perspectives and different viewpoints and asking critical questions. Hey, that's why I'm a podcaster. And thank you to all the YouTubers out there that told me about green screen and everything else. I leave you in the words of Assalamu alaikum. What your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
And they
Some people don't know what NSA
the National Security Administration. And when I walked up in there and seen something like that, wow. They got video screens. I mean, from here to 35th Street.
Those street cameras, right?
Those are the screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I said. But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.
But wait a minute, all the while.
What your grandfather was doing.
Put it in the chat room.
Okay.
Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
And they
Some people don't know what NSA
the National Security Administration. And when I walked up in there and seen something like that, wow. They got video screens. I mean, from here to 35th Street.
Those street cameras, right?
Those are the screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I said. But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.
But wait a minute, all the while.